Jody Arrington joins us now via Skype from his Washington, D.C. office. Hey, congrats to getting the deal to the finish line here, finally. I know this doesn't include everything you wanted, but in your opinion now, is this going to be enough for our cotton, sorghum, peanut, corn, whatever farmers out there?
Absolutely. Good to be with you. God bless West Texas. This is a great day for farmers and ranchers across the country, rural America, and certainly for the future of West Texas. Bryan, the farm policy side, the ag safety net, it's a home run. And our producers, whether they're peanut producers or cotton farmers, or even our ranchers up on the sort of the high plains side, they're all going to feel much better and have the certainty that they need to continue to do what they do. And, you know, we've had 40% increase in family farm bankruptcies. We'd had a 50% decline in farm income. This is over the last few years since the 2014 Farm Bill. This is a home run on the ag side, on the farm policy, the safety net, and the rural infrastructure investment. And I'm very pleased and excited about the prospects of our president signing it into law and, you know, and a more prosperous future for the folks back home.
Work requirements, though, for the SNAP program, of course, did not make it into the final version. What do you make now of Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue saying that the USDA, through the Trump administration, would simply make a rule to make it hard for states to suspend those work requirements in the first place? And do you think that will happen?
Well, you're right. We didn't get as bold of welfare to work reforms in the food stamp program as we wanted, but 18 of the 21 House food stamp reform provisions were included in the final bill. This is from the conference report that we were working on to get to both chambers. And so this is a good thing. I mean, the integrity of the program is going to be strengthened, and there'll be more accountability for states, and there'll be better oversight to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse. The ground that we didn't get will be made up by the Sonny Perdue, our Secretary of Agriculture and USDA, through regulation. And the tightening of the work requirements, which is what we were attempting to do by law, will be done now by regulations. So 18 of the 21, and then you get Sonny Perdue and this Trump administration tightening up the work requirements. I think we're going to have everything that we wanted. It just wasn't all done, you know, codified into law, and that would have been the preference. But it's still good. I would say, as Ronald Reagan has often been quoted as saying, I'll take 80% of a deal and come back and fight for the 20 another day. Got 80% on the food stamp, and I'm pleased with that.
Yeah, you know, take me through the process now of the compromise of the House and Senate bills. I thought the House version, as it stood, was much more comprehensive. But at least at the beginning of the process, it seemed to me on the outside that the Senate was saying it's a kind of our version or nothing, and that kind of made it tough on you guys. Was that the case, and how did you finally get to the final compromise here?
Well, I think the biggest challenge for us and for our chairman and neighbor, Mike Conaway, there in Midland, and I was working alongside of him through this process, but it was not having our Senate Republican colleagues reciprocate on the welfare to work reforms and food stamps. When we thought we could count, we knew where the Democrats were. They opposed it. We didn't get a single vote in the House. We didn't think that we'd get any more support in the Senate from Democrats, but we thought Pat Robertson, our Republican colleagues, would help us, and they didn't. I mean, just being very frank, which made it really difficult because you felt like you were negotiating with 3 Democrats instead of, you know, 2, and then having some help from the Senate. The fact that we got 18 of 21 of the food stamp reforms in is no small thing with that dynamic. But, you know, we all had to get along, and we all had to agree ultimately. And so I want to congratulate everybody on the fact that we got the broadband technology investment. I mean, 50% of rural America does not have access to the internet. There were important things that we could all agree on. And ultimately, you know, we weren't going to get everything we wanted. And the most important thing for us was to make sure that we could provide the stability and the certainty that our farmers need to do what they do, which is a tremendously risky business, and have a great outlook for rural America and back home in West Texas. That was sort of keeping our eye on the ball, so we were able to give a little on the supplemental nutrition assistance to get there. But even that, I think, is going to be made up, like you said, with this administration.
How concerned were you through the last few weeks, especially that the other political infighting and the countless issues that are coming out of Washington these days would derail a vote, which would have forced you to start all this all over again in January?
Well, I was very disappointed that we couldn't get it done by the deadline in October, but the midterm elections and the politics surrounding that just derailed it initially. I thought, well, surely with agriculture in rural America and it being mostly a bipartisan issue for policymakers, that we could get it back on track. There were times it was touch and go, and I think probably the worst scenario for me and for the people in West Texas was to let this thing slip, not get a deal done, and not find some way to compromise to get it done, and have Nancy Pelosi and the House Democrats start all over again and rewrite it. I can assure you this, Brian, this farm bill is great on its own merits, but if you think about the prospect of having the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi rewrite it, we would never have the conservative reforms that we have for food stamps, and it wouldn't be as producer-focused as it is. And in my opinion, strong opinion, the farm bill should be about stability in the ag economy. It should be about maintaining our ability to feed and clothe our own people, which is a national security issue, and giving our producers the risk management tools to do what they do so that we can have a safe and affordable supply of food. All that's been done, and it's been done in a way that I think when you talk to our producers, they're going to say, great, to get working, and we're going to see the better and brighter days ahead of us.
Very good. Well, hey, congratulations. Get a spending deal done and get back home soon. Jody Arrington in Washington. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brian. Go West Texas.
Let's do this week's poll question. Would you support House Bill 413 that would repeal the Texas DREAM Act, which allows illegal immigrants to pay in-state college tuition under certain conditions? Talk to us on the KMAC News Facebook page and on everythinglubbock.com. Click on Talking Points and give us your opinion. And we asked that poll question because we're about to talk more about that bill and the people it would affect if that passes. And we're talking more about the role that international students are playing in the Texas college experience. Texas Tech President Dr. Lawrence Skubanek's here with that and more next on Talking Points.